What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. One I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. I don't know. It's just the general reviews I hear on it, but it has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what I said, from what Caleb told me, he said don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping notes that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. The Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to the beginning of the podcast. I got an axe to grind with you motherfuckers. It's going to be Hardscape Festivus today.
Thanks.
I actually have no axe to grind with you guys, but I've had a whole week of people like just...
My snowball's not even plugged in.
So what happened?
Yeah, you sound different.
Not even plugged in. Give me a second.
My Chad's got to plug in his mic. Everyone give Chad a second. He came to this meeting unprepared.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. You don't sound as echoey.
I don't sound as echoey?
No.
Well,
all right.
we're here for.
I'm going to drop one of the most important pieces of advice to anyone who listens to this podcast right now. If you don't own a business and you've never owned a business, do not go to a business owner and tell them how to run a business. That's my fucking advice to you.
Did this happen recently?
If you don't own a business, shut your fucking mouth. Because you have no idea what the fuck it takes to run a business and the many intricate layers of every decision that's made.
Agreed.
And I will be the first to say that I am not the number one person in the world at running a business. I'm absolutely not. I'm great at operations, logistics, job site production. The actual running of a business, I'm maybe a 5, 6 out of 10. But if you've never run a business, I really don't give a fuck about your advice. If I was a 2 out of 10, I could fucking care less about your advice on how to run a business. I don't give a shit.
Who got under your skin this week?
One of the guys that drives for us, he fucking worked 2 shifts, then went AWOL, 8 text messages, 6 phone calls later, called me, and then gave me a speech about if I'm coming in, I need this many hours on a shift and blah, blah, blah. And this is the cost of a bagel. And don't you understand that I have to get a bagel and coffee and my truck burns this much fuel coming in. And, you know, we could have done another load and you sent us home. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the solution to your problem. Like if it's 2:00 and you want to run another load, just text me and say, hey man, I'm going to run another load. And I'll be like, cool, bro, whatever. You do you. Great. I picked 3 loads because it's minus fucking 30. We're not super busy, trying to keep everyone busy for a longer length of time. Like if I wanted to get it done, I could have called 10 trucks and done it in a day. But instead I was using our trucks, trying to get everyone that works for us hours, whatever. Anyways, this guy vaporized for like 8 days, then called me.
Your employees.
Well, basically I was like, call you in the spring. Never, motherfucker. Bye. Been good, asshole. Suck a dick.
Gonna be harder to afford that bagel now.
Here's things that like people make you become responsible for. I didn't tell you to buy a 5.7 Toyota, which is the shittiest fuel mileage on the absolute fucking planet, the worst vehicle in the world on fucking fuel. Then I didn't tell you to fucking take a job in Whitby when you fucking live in Peterborough. Like I didn't tell you to do any of that shit. And if you had taken the job in Peterborough and then I moved the company to Whitby, Sure, you got a bitch, right? But the company's been in the same place the whole fucking time. I didn't tell you to put 14-inch wide, 35-inch mutters on your fucking truck, which vaporize. You already have the shittiest vehicle on the planet on fuel. Now you're just vaporizing more. None of these choices have anything to do with me. And I certainly like, and what am I going to, this guy wants me to break it down. Hey man, if you got some Folgers and you made your own coffee in the morning and you got some bagels and your own cream cheese and you made it at home, you could save yourself fuck off, dude. Manage your own fucking life, asshole. Like, see you never in the spring. That kind of shit happened to me twice this week. 2 different times. Both times I was like, see you never. I'm done with people that want to think they can boss me around. I'm done with motherfuckers that can't take personal responsibility for themselves in any fucking way. Like, if you make a bunch of poor decisions, that's not Paver King Limited's fault.
When do you stop holding their hand through the bad decision? Because in the past, you've said you make concessions for a lot of your workers.
Yeah, but those people don't come and preach at me about how them owning some shitbox Toyota is my fucking fault.
Did he ask you, or did he tell you?
I have a fuck ton of tolerance for people that are trying and make mistakes, or people that are on the edge of society and just need a break. I have tons of tolerance for that. But to like ignore my messages for 8 fucking days so that you can then call me and give me a speech about the cost of a bagel and a coffee. You can fucking fuck off, bro.
I agree.
Find somewhere else to work, asshole. That's different than what you're talking about.
Yeah. Whenever they start making it your fault, then whenever you become the punching bag, then it's hard to empathize with them.
It's not my fault that you made a torrent of stupid decisions. On top of that, if your big problem is your days aren't long enough and you want more hours, just text me or call me or have a reasonable conversation. Or the guy who's on site loading, text him and say, I'm coming back for one more. You know what he'll say? Cool, I'll be here and I'll load the truck. Like, the fuck are you talking about, man? There's a million ways to solve your problem other than this guy's like fucking 55 too. There's a million ways to solve your problem other than putting your tail, but like then taking your fucking shitbox Toyota and disappearing for 8 days because you're in a hissy fit. Like, fuck you, man. Like, grow up. No wonder you are where you are, because you're pulling a hit. Like, instead of just solving the problem and moving your life forward, you pull a hissy fit for 8 fucking days. Like, that helped your situation. I can't even get a bagel and a coffee, so I'm going to disappear for 8 days and not work. Fuck yeah, that's helping you, you fucking idiot. Like, if you're having problems in your life, not working and having no money doesn't make them fucking better.
I think this is good riddance to the guy.
See you never in the spring.
How long has he worked for you?
I don't know, 6 months.
Oh yeah, that's not you're not married to him by any means.
I'm again, if you've never owned a business and have no idea about all the decisions that are going, like, I'm making decisions based on well, we all are. Anyone who's running a business is making decisions on a million factors. Trying to make money, trying to pay your bills, trying to help. Like, for me, a big factor is trying to help the people that work on our team. And right now, there's some people on our team that need hours. There's people on the team that didn't go the EI route, that are trying to plow snow and get some hours with us. And so if I have this job, yeah, we could bang it out in 3 days. I could call 10 trucks, but that provides my people with like 3 days worth of work. Or I can just do it with my trucks. We can do it a bit slower. And that provides everyone with 2 weeks worth of work. And the client doesn't give a fuck how long it takes us to do this. So I'm trying to help everybody, but you're coming down on me, like, giving me a hard fucking time, like I'm an idiot and I don't understand that. If you call 10 trucks, you'd have fuck off. Go get a fucking bagel.
Does he talk to the other members of your crew about it before he talks to you about it?
I don't know.
Like, is there not a canary in the mine that could let you know that this problem is occurring before?
No, he didn't say anything
up on your face, nothing
no,
like that.
So he never said anything to anyone. He just disappeared for 8 days and then called me to. I guess he thought he was gonna like rag me out, teach me a thing or two
Teach you
about
a lesson.
teach me a fucking lesson. I basically was like, hey, dude, if you need anything from me, like a job recommendation or you need me to call someone, I'm happy to do anything I can to help you out.
Yeah.
I'll help you in any way. But see you never in the spring. I don't need your shit in my life.
Yeah.
I would rather set the fucking truck he drives on fire in my yard than ever have him fucking drive it again.
Well, hopefully he's not mad or your truck might be on fire.
I don't think he's that kind of person. He doesn't have the fucking guts.
That's probably a felony. Exploding someone's truck.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah.
Most people who run their mouth and are fucking bullies are fucking pathetic behind the scenes.
Hmm.
It's like people who make a commentary on Paver King's a fucking sellout on fucking line. Okay.
Something else that got under your skin this week.
Oh yeah, my whole fucking week has been. I also haven't slept much for the last 48 hours, so maybe I'm
Oh,
actually
geez.
lit up. But like, I'm a sellout. You know what's a sellout? Giving a fake review of something. That's selling out. It's the fact that I thought the mastermind was a productive and good use of my time. That's bad for my brand. That's not good for me as a person. It's really not good for me, who's been a vocal critic of any kind of that kind of shit for a long time. It's not good for me to come on here and say, hey, you know what? I was wrong about this. This was really good. You know what that is? That's the opposite of selling out.
You also didn't get paid, so there was no.
I paid more than anyone else in the fucking room to be there, apparently. Bunch of people were there for free. Bunch of people signed up. I paid $200. I probably paid them more than anyone else to fucking be there. You're right. And I never got paid a penny. I went out for dinner with these people, and I would have been more than happy to pay for my dinner, and they offered to pay for it, so no problem. But if you think that I'm gonna lie about something for a fucking steak, you are fucking bananas.
You don't even like steak.
I don't particularly like it. Like, I'm to say that I'm a sellout because I told the truth. I think that's the fucking opposite of being a sellout.
Yeah. People are going to talk, especially when you're as famous as you are.
Oh yeah,
You got to have that thick skin.
it's been fucking great all week.
It's been cold all week, is what it's been. Ever since I got home, my God.
It's actually way nicer than last week.
Yeah, last week was much
It's
colder.
warm. It's warm as fuck this week. I don't know. Like you're just
It was minus 20 when I walked the dog this morning.
you happen to be in. It was minus 30 last week. 10
Ah,
degrees warmer, man.
Wow. No, thank you. We had a
Chad,
ton.
do you have one of those guys, like you said, the canary in the coal mine, like your
Uh-huh.
ears in the
Oh, yeah.
field?
Oh, yeah. They're
Yeah.
all like that. Yeah.
Oh, they all are.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
They talk amongst themselves, and then it always comes back, which is good, right? That I can
Yeah.
approach it before it approaches me.
So how
Alright.
do you bring that up without making it seem like somebody was tattling on somebody or something like that? Do you just say, "Hey, I heard"?
So we step lightly around everything at the company, but I know that they talk. Every worker talks shit whenever their boss is not around, right?
Yeah.
And if you
yeah.
acknowledge that fact, right? Like, I know you guys talk shit about me. I don't work as hard as I used to, all this stuff. Like you're opening the dialogue there.
The whole world is the entire world is generated by people talking about other people behind their back. That's the whole world. Everything is, and it doesn't even have to be in a bad way. If I call up Jack and be like, hey, did Chad send you that fucking tender from Port Hope? Are you working on that? And Jack says, no. And I'm like, stupid fucking Chad, what the fuck is he up to? Like, why isn't he doing that? I'm interested in doing that job with him, but he can't be bothered to send a fucking email. What a motherfucker. Fucking in Costa Rica, fucking partying with the Pelicans, can't be bothered to fucking try and find some work for the fucking spring. Anyways, if I'm saying that, Yeah, I'm talking behind your back, but it's not necessarily horrible. It's just saying
Yeah.
shit. It's
And
just saying shit and you're not there.
if you um don't get offended easily, it really doesn't matter when people are talking behind your back. I think if you're saying whatever, it doesn't matter, you know. Water off a duck's back. I don't get offended if the guy said Chad doesn't work as hard as he used to, or he's a pussy, he's got soft hands now, or whatever. It's just,
You are a pussy. You do have soft hands.
well, I compared to years
I'm
ago,
just joking.
I'm
No,
sure I
I
do.
I have no idea what level your hands are at. I have no
Uh,
fucking clue.
well, it's my job has changed, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And either we all accept that, or we all look for new jobs and we shut things down. And I think we've chosen to accept that.
But with something getting back to me, I would be worried that if I brought up something that was said about me to like one employee, that they would go back to the other employees and cause a conflict, as in, hey, you told Chad what I told you.
You're always better to just deal with it up front.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, but I'm a sellout, so you take it if you fucking want.
So here's my situation. We were doing a job out of town. I sent two guys up to do a bunch of reinstatements, little driveway spots, little walkways that had to get reinstated after the GC was done. Two guys, right? So there's no question about who said who, what about who.
Hmm.
One guy did a lot of the work, one guy didn't do a lot of the work. Obviously, got under the guy who did more work was irked by the fact that he did so much more than the other guy.
Fair enough.
But the dynamic is one guy works fast and one guy works slow, right? So what do you do? How do you approach the situation? Do you pull the slow guy aside and say, "Hey, you really didn't cut it last week?" Or do you take the fast guy and say, "I know it's a problem. It's something we can work on together
Do they
to
make the same hourly rate?
be." Um, yeah,
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
that's yeah, but there's also different concessions for every employee, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So whenever the fast employee asks for a pay advance, it's there for them, you know. These are not everybody's going to be work at the same speed, but do we need everybody? Yes, we need everybody.
Yeah, other than moving that crew around and putting it to another, like saying trying to match people who, we had we have a we have two, like we split to two crews, and the bulk of our um staff has worked with the second foreman for 10 years. But because they've spent so much time with him, it it's hard for him to be their boss, right? Like that's a challenging position to be in charge of people who you've been working beside for the last 10 years, because there's a whole bunch of different dynamics there, um, that make it hard. So we we specifically left those staff members with the original foreman, and then the guy who kind of broke out on his own this year, we hired him, a brand new laborer that had no history with him. And then most of the time he had subs that he managed, because the subs respect him and do what he asks. And the new employee, obviously has no history with him, no background. So I made a conscious effort to try and set him up for success, because moving we have a lot of experienced staff, but none of them want to be in charge of anything. And we have one person who is willing to step up and be in charge. The problem is when you take the experienced staff and put them working under the person who stepped up to be in charge, they're all going to question every decision that person makes, because it's fun to question that person's decision. It's not fun to be in charge. So well, but the original foreman, they all will listen to what he says and do what he says, because he's been the foreman forever with these people. So he kept his crew, and when we started that one, I didn't move anyone over. We hired a new guy, and then that crew mostly managed subcontractors that worked with him, because they're great to work with him. And they don't a subcontractor just does what in general just does what they're told to do, right? So that's what we did to try and mitigate the situation that you're talking about, sort of too. Um, in a different, it wasn't necessarily how hard people were working. It was more like, in order to become good at a job, you have to make some decisions that are wrong and then learn from them. And if you make a wrong decision for the right reasons, I'm okay with that, because if you have like 6 reasons why you made a bad decision, that's okay. At least you thought it through. It didn't work out the way you thought it would. You didn't make the decision solely based on, I thought it would get us home faster,
Yeah.
or I didn't want to do that shoveling. I thought if we just, it all depends on why you made the decision, I guess, is what the um, but that's how we mitigated it this year, and it worked really well, you know.
Yeah, I think everything we did last year sets us up for success this year. Most of the guys are coming back, minus one maybe, who isn't sure yet. But it's going to be a good season coming up, I think. I think I want to pull my three top dogs aside and sort of incentivize them somehow. Not sure how yet, but we need to start
What
bringing
would they say if you asked them?
um
If you said, "Hey guys, I want to incentivize you somehow," what do you think they would say to you? We want more money? Is that the only thing?
no, no. Um there's a lot that we could do. I mean, put them in company trucks, give them more time off if they want. Like they're workers though, right? They don't necessarily want time off. More money definitely helps. Um, I don't know. It's really
Do you think
they'll tell you what they want, right?
well, that's sort of like, if you have a $25 an hour employee and you start paying them $30 an hour, they don't become a $30 an hour employee.
No,
There's still a $25 an hour employee that you happen to be paying $30 an hour.
yeah. But what do you do with employees that could potentially be making like 40, $45 an hour, working for $30 an hour, and you don't want to lose them?
What
Is it,
are
I
they willing to do? What it are they willing to do what you need them to accomplish to earn $45 an hour?
see that's like what a nurse makes or something, or like a fucking, I don't know, that's big money. Well, I mean, is it? It's all relative, I guess, right?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously they're productive enough to be $30 an hour and make profit. What if they wanted to make $45 an hour? That's a big fucking jump. What
Absolutely.
what
Yeah.
would they like? How much more production, or what would they have to take off your plate in order to make that money? Because some it might not even be more production. Maybe it's, hey, like,
Well, it almost is more production because that's going to drive the revenue that pays their paycheck.
yeah, but okay, so here's the thing.
And that's
Say
paid for that pay
you
increase.
you spend a lot of time fucking around in your yard,
Yep.
right? I
Yeah.
spend a lot of time fucking around in my yard, plowing snow, fucking fixing small trucks, moving things around, getting machines great. I spend a lot of time fucking around in the yard. If someone came to me and said, I'm going to do all this stuff, and then did it, that might not bring more production, invoiceable production, but it allows me more free time. And I would value that and pay them more if that someone stepped up to say, all this shit that you do on Saturdays and fucking Sundays and after hours, all these different things you do, I'm going to take those things over. Like, we shovel after every snowfall, I shovel every flat trailer that we have. Because if you leave the snow on them and then the water gets in them, the wood just rots. So I go and I shovel them all off and we have 5 things to shovel off now. Um, if someone said, I'm going to come in whenever it snows and like, it takes, by the time you move all our trucks around and shovel off all the trailers, you're looking at 6 hours to plow the yard. No,
Yeah.
I always do it. right? But this year, when I was sick, Cody came in and plowed the yard. Today, right now, because I'm doing this, Andrew's pulling out all the trailers, shoveling them all off, and plowing in between them all. So because the other thing that happens is when the snow builds up, it freezes the inside hubs. And then when you go to use a trailer, you're dragging it down the fucking road and burning the tires off it. Not that I've ever done that before. Maybe the only person that it happened to so far. But like, if someone's willing to make my life a bit easier and create more time for me, I also think that there's a value to that that's not necessarily production based in terms of paying them more.
But do you want to give that $45 an hour employee the job of shoveling off trailers, or can you not delegate that to a $20 an hour employee?
No, because they won't come in and do it. Like, I agree with you. Like, there's some things that happen during the season, in season, that you can delegate to a less expensive employee. But when you're down to the only employees you have around are like we only have 3 people right now that aren't laid off. Well, like, you know, so those are the people that are there. I'm just saying, like, someone who's willing to free up my time. I get the point you're making, but it's like it's a different perspective that I'm talking.
It's also harder in landscape construction because everybody has to do everything all the time, regardless of what they're getting paid, right? Like,
Sometimes everyone has to do everything. Yeah.
yeah,
So one of the things that's going on right now is we have like a laundry list of things that has to be certified. There's a bunch of things that have to be. I have a list of repairs. We have um things that we're gonna do, like we need to gut a tool trailer and rebalance it so it's not blowing tires and warping fucking axles. And we have a whole bunch of. I have a list of things that have to happen at the yard. Plus, I have the list of all the certifications. So, like, normally I deal with all that stuff, and it absorbs a shit ton of my time. But I also, for some reason, have had a lot of phone calls about jobs to bid in the last week, and it's snowing, so we were like moving snow and we have this other thing going on, moving hay. Um, so we're actually kind of busy. So I created a shared note, and now Cody is taking care of booking trucks in and out, making sure things get certified. I sent her a list of where every single thing is going, what needs to happen with it, what we need done. So she's going to take that over and take care of it, and that frees up my time to not have to worry about it because I know she'll take care of it.
yeah,
So like that is something worthwhile to me that frees up my time that, isn't necessarily solely production based, I guess. It's taking on other responsibilities, like maybe being like a quasi yard manager sort of thing, right?
yeah. And how is she compensated? Just by pay, or did she ask for?
Well, she
Yeah.
wanted no, she wanted more hours.
Yeah,
So I said, okay, here's what I need you to do. Can you do this? She's like, yep, I'll do that, no problem. And so now she's doing these things. And if she does a great job and it becomes a thing where she's managing the fleet and she's taking care of the yard and stuff, then yeah, then I'm happy to compensate her. I'm not going to pre-compensate her until we see how it goes.
yeah,
That's a dangerous game, the pre-compensation game.
yeah.
To
Yes,
me.
that's a dangerous game.
But anyways, we'll see. Like there's things that are I figuring out what's maybe something that's really important to your guys is they want a paid week of vacation.
Yeah, that's not too much to ask. Well, for the right guys.
That's what I'm saying. You said you have 3 guys that you want to sit, like maybe saying, hey, each one of you can pick a week in season and not the same week, and they have to be apart and you have to book it in advance. So I'm aware of when you're doing it, but you can each have a paid week off. That's
Yeah.
something that would be valued. Like you're saying, they're workers probably because they need money. So they probably wouldn't take a vacation normally, but maybe they want to take a week off in September
Yeah.
or something. Maybe that's something you could offer them.
A paid week at my cottage, perhaps.
A paid week at your cottage. And you only charge half the normal Airbnb rate.
Yeah. No.
Only charging you half the Airbnb rate, bitches. Be happy
Yeah.
that I have. Do you do you think that your people on your team are actually uh running around talking about how soft you are?
It doesn't matter if they are, like, are they? Probably.
Or is that
Oh,
just your perception? Are they maybe has it ever have you ever conceived that your people are happy you're not around all the time?
oh, they are.
They're like they're so
They
happy
are.
as fuck. They're not calling you soft. They're just like, it's so great with Chad not being here every day. I'm so happy that he moved on to a different position in the company. So he's
A,
not breathing down my fucking neck.
a lot of the times they'll say, get back in the truck and go somewhere. We got it covered here. And then that's great, right? Like, what more can you ask of the guys than get back in the truck and go somewhere? We don't need you here.
Go away.
Yeah, go away.
You
Do you
don't
want me to
have
help with this? No, we got it. Fucking great.
you don't have to go far, but you need to go now.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying that there's you're I think that any of us that stopped working on the tools as much as we did, like if that's something you took pride in your life, because there is a subsection of the population that can't wait to stop shoveling and working because it's not anything they ever took pride in. But let's say they're taking something that they took pride in, then I think all of us conceive of all these people running around going lazy fucking soft hands. But I don't
I
know that that ever really happened. I
I got a statement here. It's my hypothesis that the people who want to get off the tools the most or the fastest are the people that shouldn't be off the tools in a lot of companies around here, is what I've found. So we've had other landscape companies in town. Oh, I can't wait till I can let the guys do their own thing or whatever. And they're telling me this after a year or two, right? Soon I'll have five guys and I'll be like you and I can just drive around all day. Those are the people whose businesses are going to prematurely shit the bed because they haven't put in the time. If you're too eager to get off the tools, you're doing your business a disservice.
unless you have the right people in place.
Unless you have the right people and you've grown the business to a place where you have no choice but to get off the tools.
So when I worked at Ridge Lake, the owner of that company never worked on the tools one day in his life ever. Not once.
Well, obviously he ran a successful company,
Very successful, incredibly successful.
so you may be disproving me there.
No, I'm
I
not
wanna-
because he had a different set of skills, right? His skills, he never had the installation of pavers skills. His skills were in estimating and financial management and cash flow and those things, which in a commercial landscaping business, like he, you know, he's probably 100% he's the best estimator I've ever been around in my life. Um, I don't know that there's anyone on the planet that could estimate the way he does. Is particular and is like just he and picking the right number to get the jobs too, right? Like figuring out the right number and everything. If that's your skill set, shoveling tree wells is not worth your time. But he had from the door inwards and I had from the door outwards. And he had the right person in place to run the door outwards for himself, right?
If you
So
weren't picking up the slack on the outside of the door, do you think Lake Ridge would have been as successful as it was?
when I left, the company got sold in 18 months.
So
Within 18 months of me leaving, the company was sold and gone, and he was no longer involved. So, did the business model work after I left? Uh, I guess not. He didn't find the right person to put in that place. Like, his most famous line to me was, "You're a great number two. You're a shitty number one." Always remember that for the rest of your life. Never forget it. Never ever spend a day not thinking about how you're a shitty number one, but you're a fantastic number two.
You write that on one of the back of your trucks with his
He's
name.
not, but he's not wrong. He's right.
Is
I'm not a great number one. I'm not. And that's okay. Like everyone's like, "Oh no, no, no." And I'm like, "No, no, I'm not good at that. I'm not good at running a business. I'm good at operations. I'm good at motivation. I'm good at logistics. I'm good at getting work done. The the finer points of running a business, I'm fucking shit at it. I'm terrible. But that's okay. Like I don't have every skill set. So I have Kelly, who does a fantastic job in her office. If someone told me to run, like when she got sick, my version of running payroll was to go get cash out of my personal bank account and then figure out how much everyone made and how many hours they worked and just ask them because I don't know how much they make per hour and I don't know how many fucking hours they worked. Like it's okay to be shitty at things and just face that reality. Whenever I talk to someone though, they're always like, "Oh no, but look, your business has grown so much in 6 years." I'm like, "Okay, great. Well, maybe it shouldn't have." Like,
I
that's
think
great, but
I
maybe
think
it
you're not
shouldn't have.
giving yourself as much credit as you deserve.
No, I'm
Yeah, I don't think
serious.
In the
anybody's good
army,
at everything.
like,
No,
yeah,
but I'm saying that's okay.
Right.
you're smart enough to put the people in the roles that they need to be in,
Yeah.
or find the
Kelly
people to do it.
Kelly's running the office because she's fucking great at it. She's
I
great at dealing with the finances. She's great at making sure everyone's paycheck clears. She's great at making sure the payments get made. She's great at dealing with the government. So I don't do those things because I fucking suck at it.
um years ago, I was probably in business 5 years or something. There was a guy in town. He's like, we had mutual friends, and he says, "Oh, your business is doing really great. I'm trying to start my business of my own. Can we go and have a cup of coffee and talk about business?" I said, "Sure, fine, whatever." Um, and so we are having coffee, and he's like, "So I want to start this tile cleaning business, like interior tile cleaning for bathrooms and floors and all this shit. Like, because I used to work for someone who did that." He's like, "But first I got to find someone who can clean the tiles so that I can just sell the jobs." It's like, dude, you have to do that at first. You have to do the cleaning. It's like, well, no, not if I'm selling the jobs. And it's like, no, you have to do it all. At the beginning, you have to do it all because there's not enough tile sales cleaning jobs that you can sell to to support you and a guy. Like you got to do it all. And he's like, "No, I don't know if I can do that." Like, well, I don't think your business is going to succeed.
I I still I know lots of business owners who still do it all, even though their
Yeah,
businesses are like
that's your
I got up in the morning. I yesterday I plowed the yard. Uh I plowed the yard with Cody. She went home. I went to go pick up a camera that I so this is off topic, but I was listening to this thing on the radio. They were talking about things that make you old.
having kids.
No, it was more like someone called in and said, "I refuse to scan a restaurant menu with a QR code. Fuck you. If you don't have a menu that's real, I get up and leave." And that person was like, "That makes me old." And I know for myself as a fact that dealing with any kind of financial banking online, I don't do that ever. I don't understand it. I don't want to know how to do it. I have no interest in it. I don't do that kind of shit ever. That makes me old because I refuse to. I don't even think it's that hard. Maybe it's hard. I don't know. Do you guys struggle with it?
No, it's easy.
I can cash a check.
Can you e-transfer money?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't
I
do that.
hate doing it. Like adding a new recipient, and then they call you with a number that you got to punch in, and then what a pain in the dick. But
So that's how I feel about online shopping. So I've been upgrading uh our cameras and stuff for this season because I have some different content ideas and I want to try to make different content. And my GoPro's 10 years old and my iPhone only does, I think I do a lot with my phone. I think I create a lot of shit with my cell phone, but I just wanted some better shit. And so I bought two new cameras and You can't just go to the store and buy them. Like one of them, I had to order it from Best. They're like, order it and have it delivered to your house. And I'm like, can you just tell me what store it's at and I'll just drive there and buy it? No, order it. So of course I said, fuck it, fine, whatever. I try to order it. So immediately it closes my company credit card down because it's not, used to buying things online. It basically only buys gas or fuel. So it immediately shut the card down. Pain in the ass one. So I call, get the card fixed, schedule the delivery, pay it. Delivery comes. Kelly's home. They ring the doorbell. They will not give Kelly the camera because she's not me,
Right.
even though she's in the house. So then they take the camera and they take it to some Pure Later place in Pickering because that's fucking convenient. And I'm like, the Best Buy is 8 minutes from my fucking house. And now I'm driving to Pickering to get the camera that was supposed to be delivered. And I'm like, how is this easier than just driving 8 minutes from here and buying the camera? They don't even have an option. I was like, can you just ship the camera to the Best Buy where they can hold it and I can show up and pay for it? We don't do that. Got to go to your house. Got to go right. My house isn't in Pickering on fucking Squires Beach Road. Nowhere near my house. Not, anyways, I went to get the camera because that was convenient. Then our client called and said, hey, I need a triaxle for 3 hours to deliver salt. And I said, yeah, I don't, like, it's not Uber. I don't have any on the road right now. Like, we're all going out to move snow tonight. And they're like, I really need this truck, man. I really need you to help me out. I said, okay, I'm in Pickering getting this stupid ass camera. So I drove back to the yard, drove the triaxle for 3 hours. Then I had my pickup was at my bin truck was at Brad's shop because the windshield is leaking, which is fucking causing the fuse box to get wet, which is causing the truck not to start when it's cold. So he dried it out and so I drove up to Brad's, got the fucking truck, brought it back to the yard. Then I had to start the 8-ton, clean the back of the fucking truck out to make because it's full of snow and shit now that causes havoc when you're hauling snow because it's frozen. By the time I got all that stuff done, I left my house at 7 a.m. It's now 9 o'clock at night. I'm in the yard. Then we all get in the trucks and we go move snow. And I got home to my house at 7 o'clock this morning. I was gone from my house for 24 hours straight, which is fine. Like, I think there's probably a lot of people that were gone from their house for 24 hours straight, like during a snowstorm. If you're involved in the snow business in any way, I don't think I'm special or odd. I think there's probably a ton of people that happen to. But I'm saying, like, if you believe that you're going to own a business and not have to do shit that you don't want to do, I just don't think that's realistic. Not in this business. I don't think it's realistic. This is a really hard way to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not willing to do anything like physical, I think it makes it a harder way to make a living.
Definitely.
That being said, the amount that you work now, right? When you hire new people, this is all they've ever seen you do. They probably don't give a shit.
Agreed. And a couple of weeks ago, I talked about reaping the dividends of the work that I put in 10 years before.
Yeah.
They see the dividends and not the hard work that went into it.
But they don't know any different, new people, so they don't give a shit.
No,
To
they
them, when you hire a new person, you're just Chad who drives around.
Yeah.
And you're the boss and you make sure the paychecks are good.
Yeah.
And they're fine with that. The only people that talk about your soft ass hands are people that you actually physically worked with in the past.
Yeah, the 8 of them, or the 7 of them that I've worked with in the past.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not afraid of what they're gonna say. Like, I'm not offended by them saying I have soft hands now.
If they thought you were soft and lazy, they wouldn't work for you anymore.
I think that's correct. Yeah. I try and make their job as easy as I can. I know they have a hard job because I've done every single one of their jobs, right? So I try and make their job as easy as I can, even though it's a hard job.
It's an insanely hard job.
Yeah. They do, like, whenever we're setting big steps or something, I like to be there, I like to help, be in the shovel, whatever, right? They do appreciate that part because things do go faster when I'm there and there's no second guessing anything, right? So it's not like I do nothing physical anyway.
You're just doing more business stuff than you used to.
Yeah,
I did more business stuff this year than I've ever done in my life.
yeah.
I think there was a 2 week period when we were in Barrie where I worked. We were trying to get this fucking parking lot paved. That was a disaster, and it just doesn't wasn't going smoothly. Um, I worked there every day because that had to get done. There was no fucking choice. I was there for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and other than that, I don't remember necessarily. Like I drove truck and stuff too, like to help Cody
Yeah.
out when she was
I've
slammed.
driven more truck this year than you
Yeah.
know how I knew that my job changed?
The miles on your truck.
No. Well, that too. But I got up one morning and it was supposed to be like 30 degrees out, right? And I had shorts or long pants. And I said, I'm gonna wear the long pants because I don't have to do anything physical today. And that was like, oh, my job is different now.
Well, the Dawn doesn't wear shorts.
The dawn. Your dawn?
No, the Dawn, the fucking
Oh,
the
I thought,
the Dawn, the mafia boss doesn't wear shorts, man. The Dawn.
what about when he's on vacation?
I don't think they're allowed to wear shorts. You can Google it. Do mafia
Poolside?
bosses
You said saying they
Google
can't
it?
enjoy themselves at all? I never want to be the Don now.
Maybe they don't enjoy wearing shorts.
I actually hate shorts. I'll
I'm
wear
not a,
pants all year.
I'm not a big shorts guy either.
Yeah.
Not a huge short.
Whenever I
I'm
was
in Mike's corner.
dogging in 35-degree weather in the middle of the summer doing anything. One year I was shoveling sand in a giant sandbox around play structure because no machine could get in. It was 35 degrees and we had one bottle of water between the five of us that were hand shoveling this fucking sand. Like then you'll appreciate shorts. You there was nobody had their top on even.
We were we I don't think I've worked somewhere where you could wear shorts since mid 90s.
We do it anyway. Like there's very few sites where we'll show up. Like I know you're not supposed to, commercial site, whatever. They do it anyway. We
So
do it until we're told we can't.
yeah, we were doing that in the Toronto area back in the late 90s. I
Mm.
guess it was no, maybe early 2000s, 2001, 2002.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
maybe 20 years ago, we would show up in shorts and they would say, "You need to get off the site. You can't be here." And so then we started just wearing pants. Like I don't think any time in the last 20 years I've been on a commercial site where people were wearing shorts.
Come on by.
Well, you're in the middle of nowhere though, where no
Yeah.
one gives a fuck about safety or rules.
Yeah.
How many inspectors are even out at the fucking
Like TSA inspectors?
yeah,
Uh,
like
any?
one for the area?
Yeah, there's one or two maybe. But
No, mafia bosses typically don't wear shorts because they want to appear professional and in charge. This is from The Sopranos when he was told not to wear shorts.
hmm. Well, I guess I'm a professional.
You're the Don.
If that's all it takes, I'm a professional.
Um,
I wouldn't wear shorts at the supply yard because the metal banding. And
Oh
if
yeah.
you tore one open and you let it sit and you walked in between the rows, the tearaway part would catch onto your skin and tear it.
Hmm. Why wouldn't you just clip the bands at the bottom?
I mean, you could reuse the band. That's the good part about tearing it, is that you could reuse it again in the future.
Good for who?
Good for me for packaging up Stratford squares, which are were a pain in the ass anyways.
How many years did you work in the landscape supply yard?
I think 7 or 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
You almost made a career out of it.
Put in my time.
What drove you out of it?
Uh
What
I
made
just
you what
got
when
so
when
busy.
when
What?
guys were rolling into the supply yard,
Yeah.
sweating their bag off, covered in stone dust, hobbling around, limping, fucking bodies all fucked up, fucking smoking meth. When they were wandering around the yard like that, what made you look at those guys and be like, the job I'm doing is so shitty. It's so fucking crap here working in the stone yard. I need to be that motherfucker. Like what was so bad in the stone yard that it drove you to the worst job on the planet?
I don't know. Stoneyard was worse than what I'm doing now. I was so booked up with work on the weekends that it just made sense for me to go off and start my own thing. And I
But I'm
was
saying, why
making
did you start working on the weekends? Like, did you look around the stone yard and say, "Ah, fuck yeah, cutting with a saw for 12 hours straight, breathing in dust? That's way better than putting in a half Saturday at the stone yard, fucking rebanding Stratford squares. Fuck yeah, way better." Just saying, like, obviously at some point you were standing in the stone yard, you'd never done a landscaping job before. You were standing in the stone yard and you looked at this guy rolling in his 85 Chevy with 3 flat tires and a load of clean fill. He was shoveling off a orange tarp by hand out of the back. And you said, man, I need a square body. I'm out. What was that? What was that moment in the stone yard when you were like, you know what? I'm going to do this on my own on the weekend. I could do this shit. Like
there
what
was no
led you
moment. It was a slow boil.
a
It
slow boil?
was my manager asked me to help him and his buddy on the side, and we laid a driveway in pavers on HPB in the rain. And then I got paid for that, and I thought I can do this every weekend. And I was still in university at the time, so I started to take on jobs on the weekend to pay for my university. And then when university was over and I was still working for the stone supplier, I continued that, and the money was much better. And it was probably more so the money, but also building things that took me there.
Did you ever miss a good day on the forklift though?
No.
When you met your wife, was the first thing that you told her, I'm forklift certified?
That
Did you
never
like
came up.
walk up to her and just be, I know how to run a forklift and I'm certified? How
I
do you
wasn't
fuck
even certified.
how do you fucking feel? Well, I'm
It's
a
even
rebel.
worse.
I'm a rebel. I'm the bad boy of forklift operation. What do you think about that? Can I get your number? Is that how you
That's
let in?
that's how I got yeah, that's how I got the
That's how you
number.
got in.
Absolutely.
I'm the bad boy of forklift operation. I don't even need to be fucking certified. Fuck you and your certification, forklift people. I roll without certification, outdoors, on gravel, with straps flying everywhere. Can cut me open
On the
at a,
dust.
at a moment's notice. I can be sliced open. Sliced. Um,
Did you get a lot of grief, Mike, from other contractors while you were building your weekend landscape business?
No.
You never come
Most
on
of them
and
didn't
said, "Hey,
know.
that's the guy who fucked me."
No, because it was all referral based. And it
Okay.
wasn't people that were going to hire a contractor.
Okay.
And it wasn't until like the last season that uh I was telling people, I guess, just to
Hmm.
let them know that I was going to go off. Because
Yeah.
I worked for them for like 2 months into the start of the next season. And at that point, I was just telling contractors that I'd be gone in a couple of months and starting my own thing. And I'd been doing side jobs and stuff.
Ugh. I came out of the closet.
Chad, why are you a success today?
Who said I was successful?
It says in your name there,
Does it? Where?
your Zoom name.
I didn't put that. You guys must have put that.
You did.
No, I swear I.
You did. It showed up in the waiting room. Success. I was like, is that PK or is that Chad?
Well, it's not me.
Not me.
I don't know. I don't even know how to change it.
Most self-deprecating guy on the planet.
Well, you find out how to change rename.